Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back everyone to another session. We are now on lesson 21, page 30. So we're going to be looking at something called Sukoon today. Sukoon. Now just before we get into that, just a quick revision. So last lesson, what we were doing, we were going through Hamza and stacked letters, right? And how Hamza can sit on different shapes. It can sit on the alif like here. It can sit on the waw. It can sit on the ya. You can sit on this thing called nabira. You can sit on this thing here. And we looked at it in its various shapes, right? So by now we should be accustomed to Hamza and how it can come on its own, like here as well. And its shapes. Also, we looked at stacked letters. Stacked letters are those letters that come on top of other letters sometimes with specific words, like this letter here, meme, sitting on top of a ha. And we looked at the various shapes. For example, here, lam sitting on top of a ha, and so on and so forth. As for today, we're going to be going through section 5. We're going on section 5, which is Sukoon, something called Lean, and something called Shadda. Now, Sukoon, it basically means a vowelless, vowellessness. They're getting stuck. Vowellessness, right? Which means there's no vowel, right? Some call it silent letters or silentness. Whatever you want to call it, we just call it Sukoon, right? Sukoon. Now, what does this mean? Now, if we look here, if we look at the first line, right? We have a Hamza and a Fatha. Then look, we've got ba here, and we've got this little sign here, right? This little sign here. Now, this is in the Uthmani script, in the Quran, the Uthmani script. The Sukoon is going to look like this, right? I don't know how to explain it. Does it look like an arrow? Does it look like a claw? Whatever you want to say. That's what it's going to look like in the Uthmani script, right? Now, sometimes, if I can just get a pen here. So sometimes as well, you'll see a Sukoon written just like a little circle, right? It can be written like this as well, just a small circle. That's in everyday script, right? In everyday script, you're going to see it like that. But as for in the Quran, then this circle will mean something else in the Quran. We'll get into that later. But Sukoon will look like this, right? So just bear this in mind. It can look like a circle in normal script, and in the Uthmani script, which is one of the scripts used for the Mus'haf, for the Quran, it will look like this, right? Now, what does this mean, right? Let's just get into what this means. So it means that we're going to pronounce the beginning sound of the letter. The beginning sound of the letter, the consonant. It's not going to have a vowel. It's not going to have a I, U, an, in, un. No vowels on it. But we're going to join it to the previous letter, and we're going to hold it. So if we look here, now we're going to say a, and I want us just to land on the ba. Land on the ba and hold the sound. So we'll say ab, ab, ab. So we're pronouncing the Hamza here has a fatha, and we're going to go to the ba, and we're going to just hold on to it. Ab. Ab. Right? So what we've done with the ba, we've just landed on the sound that ba has, and it has a b sound. We're just going to say ab, and we're going to land on it, right? So Sukoon basically means that we land on the letter with Sukoon, yeah? We land on it, we arrive at that letter, and we just hold that sound, the sound that letter produces, right? And this is going to get clear as we go along. So, ab, that's the first one. Let's go on to the second one. Hamza with a kasra. What sound does that make? E, right? Now we're going to do the exact same thing. We got a ba here with a Sukoon on top, which means we're going to just join the E to the ba. We're going to land on the ba, and we're going to hold the sound that it comes with. So we're going to say ib, 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 right? Then go on to the next one. Now we've got Hamza with a dhamma. I'm going to say U. I'm going to land on the ba. Ub. 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 So ab, ib, ub. We're going to do that for every letter, right? Cool. Next letter. So we've got Hamza with a fatha. A. Now we've got a ta with sukoon. How are we going to land on that? How are we going to say that? At. At. So if you look at my mouth, at. 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 You can see here, at. I've said the a. The tip of my tongue goes on the upper palate. Ta, 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 ta. I'm gonna go from the a to the ta. I'm gonna say at. At. Obviously, but it's not a hold that long. I'm just exaggerating so you can see. At. Right? At. Then go on to the next one. E with a ta. It. And make sure we go straight to the shadda. A lot of people make mistakes by saying it. Like it. And it's like an elongation. Straight from the E to the ta. It. Then, next one. U with a ta. Ut. Right? Cool. Now we go on to the next letter. Hamza with a fatha is a. Now we've got a tha with sukoon. So we're going to land on the tha and just pronounce or produce the initial sound of tha. We're not going to say tha, thu, thi, no vowel signs. We're going to just hold on to it. So we're going to say a, ath, 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 ath. So notice the tip of my tongue for tha touches the tip of the teeth. Tha, right? Now when I say a and I land on the tha, I'm just going to say ath. Make sure straight away your mouth closes onto the tha. Ath, right? Next one, Hamza with a kasra and the tha with sukoon. Ith. Next one, uth. Yeah, so ath, ith, uth. Right? And this is for learning purposes, right? That we put it like this. Next one, a with a jim and sukoon. A with a jim and sukoon. So we'll say a, and then we're going to pronounce the initial sound of jim. What's the initial sound of jim? J. It's a j sound, right? J. So we're going to say aj. Then Hamza with a kasra on a jim with sukoon. Sukoon's on top of the jim. Ij. Hamza with a dhamma and jim with sukoon. Uj. Line 3. Aha. Pay attention here, right? We've got a Hamza with a fatha and now we've got a ha with sukoon. This one's going to be a bit tricky, but let's look at it for some people. A and then ha with sukoon. So we're going to pronounce the initial sound of ha. What's the initial sound of ha? It's the breath. Imagine like panting. That's how I always remembered ha. That's how I learned ha. Like it's like a pant. If you pant, you can produce ha. You say that's the ha, right? Now we want to produce the initial sound of ha. So it's going to sound like this. A, pronounce the a, and then go to the ha. Ah. And I'm exaggerating the ha, letting the breath out so you guys can see. Ah. And then without exaggerating, you just say ah. Right? So the Hamza, Now, just a side point, guys. It doesn't always have to be a Hamza with a fatha. It can be any letter coming before sukoon. And when we go into reading practice, we'll see that it could be any letter coming before a letter with sukoon to pronounce a sound, right? And we'll get into that. For now, we're just using so we can practice. We're using Hamza just for practice. Ah. Now Hamza with a kasra, E, and then we want to jump on the ha and hold it. Eh. So the breath, you don't want to push it too much. You want that. If you press too hard, you're not going to be able to get the ha out. It's a very light pant. So and some countries they have the ha in their language, like in Somali, for example, they have ha, so it's not easy. It's easy for them. Other languages as well. There's some Eastern African languages as well. They have the ha in there, so it's easy for them. But for those that are not used to this sound, it can take a while, right? It can take a while. So just try and practice the ha as much as possible. Next one, oo, oo, and then a ha with sukoon. Right. Now we go on to next one. A. We've got a hamza here with a, and then we've got the kha with sukoon. So the kha here has got sukoon. So we're going to pronounce the initial sound of kha, which is a sound, right? So we say a, ach. Excuse me. Ach, 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 ach. E with a kha. Ich. So we say E and we join to sound. Ich. Next one. U with a kha. Och. This one, try not to exaggerate the kha too much. Don't say och and exaggerate. Some people really exaggerate the kha. Just touch it. Och. Okay, next one. Hamza with a fatha and nadal with sukoon. This one's quite easy. What sound does it? What's the initial sound of dal? Before we put a vowel on, it's a d sound. D, right? D sound. Tip of the tongue, touching the upper palate. D, right? So we're gonna say a, ad, right? E with a dal with sukoon. Id. U with a dal with sukoon. Ud. Then hamza with a fatha and then a dal with sukoon. Right? Adh. So the initial sound of dhal is a vibrating sound. The tip of the tongue comes out and we vibrate. Different from tha. That is no vibration. But for dhal is a vibration. So we're going to say a, and then we go jump onto the dhal straight away. Hold it with the vibration. Adh. And I'm exaggerating for learning purposes. But as we go along, we just say adh quickly. Adh. But for learning purposes, we're going to exaggerate. Adh. Then we have a hamza with a kasra and then a dhal with sukoon. So we're going to say the E, jump straight onto the dhal and hold it. Idh. Next one. Hamza with dhamma, u, and then a dhal with sukoon. When any letters have sukoon, we do not pronounce any vowels on it. We just hold on to it and pronounce the initial sound that comes out, that beginning sound, the consonant sound. Udh. U. Udh. Cool. Next one. A. Hamza with a fatha. A. And then a ra with sukoon. A ra with sukoon. We're going to say ar. A. So you got a onto the ra. Ar. In the beginning, when you're just learning, you can roll your tongue too much, right? But when you go deep into tajweed, so you shouldn't roll your tongue too much, right? But in the beginning, you can just say ar, Just for learning purposes though, right? Just to get your tongue used to that sound. And then after it, you take down the rolls and you just say ar, 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 ar. Then E with a ra, ir, ir, ir. In the beginning, okay, ir, 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 ir. But that's just to get close to the sound, right? But what we want to do is just say ir, 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 ir. Then U, we got a hamza with a dhamma, U, and then a ra with sukoon, ur, 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 right? Again, if you need to roll a bit too much to get used to it, fine. But essentially, we don't want to be saying ur, ur. We don't want to go over the top, right? It's not machine gun. Ur. Yeah, just ur, ur. The initial sound, ur. Cool. Then we got a, hamza with a fatha. A and a zai with sukoon. What's the initial sound in zai? It's a zzz, like a buzzing beat. Zzz, zzz sound. So we're going to say a, zai with sukoon, as. I'm exaggerating the length just so you can hear as. Then when you start reading, just as. E with a zai with sukoon, is. Hamza with a dhamma, zai with sukoon, uz. Next line. Hamza with a fatha and sin with sukoon. This one's easy, right? What's the initial sound of sin? S. It's a s sound. As. Hamza with a kasra and a sin with sukoon. Is. Don't be lazy with the sukoon, but don't say is. It's like a break. That's the lazy English tongue. Sometimes we'll say is and there's a break. No, straight to the sukoon. Is. Hamza with a dhamma and then sukoon on the sin. So I say us. So as, is, us. Then Hamza with a fatha, sheen with a sukoon, easy one. Shh. Just how you say shh. Right? That's the initial sound of a sheen, right? It's a sh sound. So we say ash. Hamza with a kasra, e, and a sheen with sukoon. Ish. Hamza with a dhamma, sheen with sukoon. Ush. So ash, ish, ush. This is just for learning purposes, guys, right? We're going to get into real words later on. In the next lesson, inshallah. Then we have a we have a hamza here with fatha, a, and a sad with a sukoon. Now this one's a bit tricky, right? We have to be careful not to mix this up with sin. As is sin. Now sad is very similar to sin, but the difference is with sad is if this was a tongue, right? The back part of the tongue lifts up. It lifts up. And it creates this thick sound. That's how you create the so. The back of the tongue is lifted up to pronounce this or sound. So. That's what's actually happening. So we say so. So when we go from a to sad, we have to kind of keep some of that heavy sound. And we say else. So we don't say s. Else. Right? So we keep some of that thick sound from the so, else. Kasra, hamza with a kasra, with a sad again. So try and keep some of that heavy sound. Ils, so. Keep that heavy sound. Ils. Hamza with a dhamma and a sad again. Just keep that back of the tongue when raised. Keep that thickness. Us. And not us. Us is seen. When you say us, get that back of the tongue up. Dad is one of the most difficult letters in the Arabic language. Hamza with a and then dad. Now dad, they say there's two ways of pronouncing dad. Again, the back of the tongue will lift to create that Allah, that thick sound, right? Some say that you use one side of the tongue, one side of the back of the tongue. So So Hamza with a fatha and dad with sukoon. So we keep the dad. How some people pronounce how it's been explained to pronounce the dad is the back of the tongue is going to lift up like the la, right, to create that that heavy sound, right? Now this side of the tongue, imagine this is the whole tongue, right? You got this is the front part of the tongue, that's the back side of the tongue. This side here on the left, on the right, you can use either side, and that lifts up and touches the upper teeth from the back. So imagine the tip of the tongue here is going up and touching one side. Somehow like a bubble going into like the weight, it builds up in the back of the mouth. Some do both one side, some do both sides. So these two sides of the tongue touching the upper teeth and the back. So instead of like you have some letters where the tip of the tongue touching the teeth, here it's these sides. And we're saying I'm exaggerating so you can see, but yeah. So we need to pronounce that side. So it's sound and we say al, and then il, old. Cool. Then Hamza with a fatha and then ta with sukoon. We're gonna say alt. Again, we're not gonna say at like a ta. This is a ta. So we need to keep that thickness. Alt. E with a ta with sukoon. Ilt. So you can hear the thickness in my sound because I'm raising the back of the tongue, say ilt. And then Hamza with a dhamma, ta with sukoon, ut, and not ut. Ut is ta, ut. Here we say ut. Then Hamza with fatha and dha with sukoon. Again, we're gonna have a vibration sound, but it's gonna be thick. Dha is a heavy letter. So we're gonna say al, right? I'm raising the back of that tongue. Al, al, and not ad. Ad is a dal. Ad is a dal. We need to raise the back of the tongue to make the letter heavy and say al, al. E with a dha with sukoon. Il. So E and then the dha is kind of heavy, so we lift it up. Not kind of heavy, it is heavy. Il. Hamza with a dhamma, that's an O sound. And now we've got a dha with sukoon. Ul. Then Hamza with a fatha and then an ayn. Ayn with sukoon. We're going to say a. A is the initial sound. A. And we're going to go to the ayn and hold it. So if we were holding ayn, we'll be here. That's holding ayn. We're squeezing the larynx here. It's in the middle of the throat, and we're saying like someone's strangling you, right? So we're gonna say and then we go to the ayn with sukoon. We're gonna say I'm only exaggerating for learning purposes, right? That's when I'm exaggerating. Then when I'm not exaggerating, If I brought a ba before it, like if I just brought a little ba here, for example, right? I'm doing it with my mouse, so it's gonna look a bit weird. A ba instead of the Hamza, right? Just to make this easy. So imagine the Hamza's not here. I brought a ba. Then I'll say ba, right? So it might be easier to use a ba in the beginning, just so you can play with it. Ba. So a hamza with a e, and then we're gonna go to the ain with sukoon, the sound, right? So we're gonna go e, yeah, right? If we had a b there, we'll say be. If we have a t there, we'll say te, right? U, hamza with a dhamma, u, and then the ain with sukoon, or. So say or, right? Again, exaggerating for learning purposes. Just bear that in mind. And then when we're less exaggerating, we say or, just very slight or. Cool. Then hamza with a fatha and then a ghain with a sukoon. So what's the initial sound of a ghain? Is a r sound, right? I always looked at it like gargling. You're gargling mouthwash, right? Right? And it's here at the top of the throat. Okay, now we've got a hamza with a fatha and then a ghain with sukoon. We're going to say ar. E, and then a ghain with a sukoon. Ir. Hamza with a dhamma, u, and then a ghain with sukoon. Or. So ar, ir, or, right? And next one, hamza with a fatha, a, and a fa with sukoon. What's the initial sound of fa? Easy. Tip of the teeth in the bottom lip. F sound. F. Right? So we're going to say hamza with a and then a fa with sukoon. We're going to say f. Easy. E. So we've got hamza with a kasra, e. And then a fa with a sukoon, if. And be careful, English people. Don't be saying if, like a It's not if, e. There's an e there. If. So don't say if. What's it? We don't have we have e. If. So bear that in mind as well when you're doing your sukoons. E and then join to the fa. If. Hamza with a dhamma and then fa with sukoon. So I'm going to say oof. Hamza with a fatha and then a qaf with sukoon. What's that going to look like? We're going to say a and then a qaf with sukoon. Alq. So we say a and then qa. The qa is at the top of the throat here, just behind the kaf, right? Kaf is at the back of the tongue, right? Qaf is qa. Here at the top of the throat, right? So when we join to it, we're going to say alq, right? Later on, when we do tajweed, we'll do there's like something called qalqala, which is a bounce. We'll bounce on it, but that's in tajweed. Now we're just looking at the initial sound, how we pronounce this in everyday Arabic. We say alq, alq. And be careful not to say ak or ok, like a kaf. Alq. And then hamza with a kasra and then qaf with sukoon. Iq. Yeah, that's how we do it later on in tajweed. Iqo. It'll be like qo. Anyhow, hamza with a dhamma, u, and then qaf with sukoon. Uq. So notice I'm pronouncing it from the back here, top of the throat. Alq, iq, uq. Last line. Hamza with a fatha and kaf with sukoon. What's the initial sound of kaf? Is a k sound. K. So it's quite easy. Ak. E. Got hamza with a kasra. That's a e. Kaf with sukoon. Ik. Hamza with a dhamma. Kaf with sukoon. Uk. Ak. Ik. Uk. Ak. ik, uk. Then Hamza with a fatha and lam with sukoon. Now this is actually quite hard for British speakers, because we don't have this sound in, even though there's a l sound in English, we never have a lam with sukoon or l, like we never hold it, right? In the British accent. So we're gonna have a and then lam with sukoon, al, 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 al. Be careful not to say ow or al or some weird sound like that. When we put L on this end in British accent, we don't even pronounce it. It sounds like a wow. It's like ow, ball, fall. We don't say fool. He's a fool. We don't say he's a fool. Fool. We actually pronounce the lam or the L, if you want to say. Anyway, the point being is, make sure your tongue goes up and touches the upper palate. So we're going to say al, 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 al. E with a kasra and a lam sukoon. Il, 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 il. Hamza with a dhamma, lam sukoon. Ul, 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 ul. So al, il, ul. Cool. So that's the end of lesson 21, page 30, right? All I want you to do is read this over and send it in the group, right? Once you say it, you just say ab, ib, ub, at, it, ut, ath, ith, uth. You can just read it like that. Once you know, right? Aj, ij, uj, ah, ih, uh, ach, ich, uch, ad, id, ud, adh, idh, udh, ar, ir, ur, az, iz, uz, as, is, us, ash, ish, ush, als, ils, us, ad, id, ud, alt, id, ilt, ut, alv, il, uv, a, I, ur, ag, ig, ug, ath, if, uf, aq, iq, uq, ak, ik, uk, al, il, ul, al, il, ul. So that's it. Basically, just try and practice those letters. Send your call in the group, and we'll stop there, inshallah. Hopefully it's clear. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.